Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for Trunda Giltmallet, so let's get into it. Alrighty, let's dive into the index here and jump into dwarves, and Trunda is going to be in the top left position, the Magic Affinity Legendary Attack Champion right here. So remember, as always, for my champion guides down in the video description, I will have one of these infographics you can pull up that sees the current masteries and kind of the grades for the champion. And I want to note right away, the masteries, I'm going to go over them here in a little bit, but an accuracy has a star on it because there is a build in the arena that involves low accuracy. So I want to make those points right away before I dive into the guide, but we'll dive into that here as we are talking. So first of all, amazing aesthetics. Trunda looks really cool. It looks like a dwarf should look like. She's a very strong, muscular, powerful looking woman. Kind of looks like what you would expect a dwarf woman to look like. And the mallet is super cool. I mean, mallet is in her name, so hopefully she has a cool mallet, and she definitely does. This is an amazing mallet that looks super amazing. So love the aesthetics. I like the base speed of 100. I like the crit damage of 63 being slightly buffed, and with her being one of the legendaries in the game with the best scaling attack abilities, she hits extremely hard. She hits like a truck, and she gets that slight boost on crit damage and has really good multipliers and an extremely high base attack of 1608, along with really high base HP of 22.8 thousand. Now, as we dive into the kit, we've got an A1 that's a multi-hitter with a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn after the second hit. If you're willing to spend 4 books, you can get a little bit more damage and buff that chance up to 60%. So a pretty good A1. Then we've got the A2, attack one enemy, then attacks all other enemies with a second hit, dealing 60% of the damage inflicted from the first hit. So we've got some AoE. Unfortunately, we can't get this to a 3-turn cooldown, but it is what it is because she's got 2 AoE abilities. As we get into the A3, attack all enemies with a 70% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Now is where it gets interesting. Places an HP burn debuff for 2 turns on enemies under a stun debuff, or place an extra hit on enemies not under a stun debuff. Now, this is why I said a 0 accuracy build can be very good in the arena, because sometimes you just want to burst them down. She scales very well. She hits super hard. So if you don't place the stun, you're just going to attack twice and deal insane amounts of damage. So there's a lot of different ways you can go with Trunda. You can build her on high accuracy to really get all those stuns and HP burns, which is kind of the better route to go in Faction Wars, arguably, and dungeons. Or you can build her for insane damage based around this Forge Rhythm to get it to hit twice, because it's an insanely high scalable ability. You can deal insane amounts of damage with that ability if you go 0 accuracy and don't proc those stuns and get it to hit twice. We've also got a passive that this champion's resistance increases by 10 for each stun debuff this champion places on enemies, stacks across each round in a battle up to 100. So she's obviously going to get a ton of resistance in any sort of scenario where the fight is prolonged. This champion's speed increases by 5 for each enemy currently under an HP burn debuff. Only counts active HP burns and stacks up to HP 15. So this can't get as out of control as the resistance and get as consistent value as the top part of the paragraph there. But hey, anytime we can get speed on a debuffer should be pretty cool. We want her getting a lot of turns and really carrying us, especially in a Faction Wars or dungeon scenario. So let's go ahead and back out of here, and I will pull up my Trunda. Here we go. Alrighty, so I think Trunda is one of the better designed legendaries in the game, and I'll talk about why really quick. She's got so many different ways you can play her, and she's good and can be excellent in the right scenario. I do monthly champion usage rate videos where I analyze how often champions are being used in the top 100 of Platinum, and Trunda is in that list. She can be exceedingly good in the right team with insane gear, and she scales very well, so she can be very good. But the trade-off is she's not super good in the clan boss. Typically, if a champion is going to be really good in PvP, they probably shouldn't be broken in PvE. There should be a nice trade-off where a champion has a role and can be super, you know, good in the right team and in the right scenario, but there's also a trade-off and a give and take there. Something also really cool about Trunda is that she doesn't really need books to be very good. You can see we're not getting cooldowns or very much buff chance or anything. She also only takes 10 books. Typically, we'll see champions get up to like 14, 15 books, and I would like it if champions stayed in that 5 to 10 range. So Trunda fits that bill, and she's got the multiple different builds. There's so many different ways you can go. 0 accuracy to make her hit super hard in the arena, or you can go high accuracy and use her in a dungeon faction war scenario. You can go super speed, you can go lifesteal because she deals damage every turn. I went with the lifesteal high accuracy route because I want her to be my faction wars carry. I will show you her you know, in action in one of the higher stages of the dwarf crypt and show you how she can be a carry for faction wars. If I was gonna build her for the arena, honestly, I would personally probably go the 0 accuracy route and try to just get her to nuke people down. She does proc the stun surprisingly well, even without having amazing accuracy. So you're kind of in a win-win. If she procs the stun, great. If not, she's gonna hit super hard and do a ton of damage. It's probably the route I would go. I would build her completely different. I would, you know, have more like speed and crit damage, and really focus on getting the accuracy down a lot, you know, under like or around 100. It's hard with your Great Hall. It's hard to get it super low, like, you know, at 20 or something. But I would get her down around 100 accuracy and change her build around a little bit. And I told you I would talk about the Masteries. There's an argument to be made to go the defense route. I love having Evil Eye and a little bit of extra accuracy for the faction wars. Master Hexer is not going to work on her stuns, but it will help the HP burns. So you're not getting a ton out of the support tree, but I'm very rarely a fan of the defense tree. So there's an argument to be made, and I can understand building her a little bit differently than this. This was kind of my general utility build that I went with for Trunda on my first kind of go around of doing your Masteries. But definitely take a look and build her yourself and kind of you know, use mine as a template to kind of start in a general sense, but build her how you are, you know, set and determined to use her. But in terms of touching on the booking process more in depth before I dive into showing her in action, I would probably say Forge Rhythm would be the most important books. You know, you could argue Booker until you get these 3 and then be done with it. You know, the A2 doesn't seem to hit quite as hard or do as much damage. The Forge Rhythm seems to be where most of her utility comes from. So I would maybe Booker until you get these 3 and then kind of stop. Obviously, you know how the booking process goes. If you've got a certain ability that you want to book out, you're probably going to struggle. And I haven't booked her yet. I'm going to see if I need to complete Dwarfs. I'm very close. And I haven't made that push towards really trying to get super high ranked in Platinum and getting her in my team. I've been kind of content with speed farming Gold 4 with 100% win rate. But if I max out my Great Hall here in a few months and I want to start, you know, making that push towards Platinum, Trunda would probably be a champion I would book and start kind of building a team around, because she can do very well and she's very commonly used by high teams in Plat. So she's a very cool champion with a lot of different roles in the game and different ways she can kind of be used and perform very well. One thing I like to do for these type of guys is just really quick show you them as an endgame campaign farmer, so you can see what kind of damage they do and kind of compare them to how other champions, you know, clear these stages and stuff. So we'll put in Trunda. She's great at farming stage 12-3. Well, I shouldn't say great. She's not like a Queen Ava or a Bellower or gonna like clear it in 7 seconds or anything, but she's very good. You can see she gets to wave 3 in 7 seconds, but then she doesn't have 3 AoE abilities or any sort of a cooldown reset. She's gonna have to cycle a couple turns and then finish it here on the 3rd round of the 3rd wave, and she'll do it in 16 seconds basically every time if you've got her in some good gear and she's able to kind of do similar damage to what I'm able to do. It's not hard to get her to that point because she scales so well, like I talked before. So she'll be a really consistent 15 to 20 second campaign farmer. Not great. You're probably not going to use her for that role unless she's like one of your first legendaries or something, but she can do it, and that gives you kind of a baseline to compare her to. She hits very hard and she can do it fairly easily without needing god gear. And I do want to show you how Trunda can perform in Faction Wars. I saved my Faction Wars keys just for this video, and Trunda is kind of the carry for my Dwarfs team. You can see here I'm easily getting to auto 19. I can probably finish the Dwarf, Faction Crypt stage 21 within a couple weeks. I just need to get some gear updated to 16, the next artifact enhancement event, and also just spend maybe a little bit more books and maybe play it on manual, but I'll easily be able to do that soon. I just kind of speed farm stage 19 with a team centered around Trunda being the carry. You've got Tormund there for the freezes, and then sustain champions of Molly and Rearguard Sergeant, and then Gala and Trunda are in lifesteal and kind of performing well as the damage. Trunda doing all those stuns and HP burns and constant CC while healing herself. She is very, very amazing in Faction Wars, and I'll kind of just let you see her in action and be able to see the numbers at the end. Alrighty, and now I am kind of nearing the end of the run here, so I'll pick it back up. But yeah, you're able to kind of see Trunda cycle through her abilities in kind of a sped up scenario there. And a team like this has got super sustain, a bunch of CC, and Trunda is a big part of the reason why I was able to progress towards the end stage of the Dwarf Faction Crypt without having to manual or anything. I've just been doing auto the whole way through, and I'm very happy with a Dwarf team that kind of centers around Trunda being one of the carries. You can see the constant stuns and constant CC that she helps me kind of place down on the enemy, and you will see there she's at 570,000 damage leading the way. Tormund and Gala kind of trying to hold up their end of the bargain, but Trunda definitely the carry, and she's not even built as like a glass cannon. Trunda has some of the best multipliers in the game, and if you build her for super glass, like for the arena or something, she can hit insanely hard. I do want to grade her. I love doing the in-game review as part of these videos, but I also want to walk you through and show you the gear I have on her, just in case you're curious. I guess I should show the total stats if you want to compare mine to yours or something. Here is the total stats I went with. Again, my build is kind of designed to help carry me in Faction Wars, get that high accuracy, good crit rate, use her as a damage carry in Faction Wars. That's my stats there. For the gear, accuracy banner, again, there's multiple different builds for her. She's kind of a rare champion in that sense, so there is times where it would make chance to go like an attack banner here instead. Crit damage is going to be pretty universal unless you build her as like a tank who just places stun and HP burns for like maybe like a spider dungeon, or if you build her that way, then you would go with like a defense. You'd probably want, if you're going to go for the tank route, you would probably want flat defense on your ring and your amulet. Otherwise, you're going crit damage and stat stick on your ring. The boots are typically going to be speed on her in most scenarios. I can't really think of why you wouldn't want her up with really good speed. Then again, attack chest is going to be super common unless you're building her the tanky route. Crit rate, crit damage on your gloves. You can see kind of my gear here, and the top is going to be a little bit more self-explanatory, but I will show the other two just in case you are curious. And there is the weapon. So now let's go over the reviews here. And okay, recommendations, attack and crit rate. Not bad. I probably would have gone, I would have thrown like 2 pieces of speed in there or something, but that's all right. And arena, we're gonna give her a 5. She's very good in the arena. Like I said, she's one of the meta champs in platinum, so how can we not give her a 5 there? Campaign, sure, I'll give her a 5. Yeah. Spider Den, she can do some cool things with countering the affinity, having the 2 AoE abilities and applying HP burn. Remember, with champions like Ignatius and Ultimate Galek, and any champion that's going to be placing an HP burn like that, you can do some cool things in the spider and formulate some strategies around that. I showcased that in my Ignatius video, kind of showing how to do the HP burn tick strategy in the spider. So sure, I'll give her a 5 because you can make things happen with her there. Minotaur, she's great. She's a great damage dealer. She'll help you in dungeons and do super well. So stun and all that. Sure, okay. Clan Boss, this is gonna be her weakest score. She's got HP burn, sure, but yeah, it's gonna be a 2. I wouldn't say she's one you're gonna want to use past like the super early game. Golem, sure, why not? Yeah, we'll give her a 5. I mean, she scales so well. She's a great champ. For the, what is this, the magic or spirit keep? I'm gonna go, she counters the affinity, but she doesn't really have any super mechanic for dealing with it, so we'll go with a 4. Magic keep, again, she doesn't have anything super good with dealing with it, but a 4 is still fair. Void keep's a 5. It's a little bit more straightforward of a dungeon. Fire Knight, she does have the multi-hit A1 with the 2 AoEs and the HP burn, so she's not awful, but she is affinity countered on stage 20, so she'd be like a 3 point something. I'll give her a 3. Force Keep, she's fine, just not amazing because she is affinity countered and doesn't have defense down or anything, so again, she's going to be like a 3. Faction Wars, she's amazing. She's just a straight 5. She can be a Faction Wars carry like I showed you kind of with my team there. So, yeah, that's going to kind of do it for this video. Trunda is a very cool champion. I really like how she's designed. She's got really good roles in the game, and I think she's kind of properly balanced in terms of being really good in certain scenarios, but not like super broken to the point where like she's ruining the game or anything, and being super good in PvP, but not being super good versus the clan boss kind of puts her in a good balance. And I think she's well designed and she's worth kind of investing in and taking a 6-star. And if you've summoned her, she'll probably be very useful for your account. So remember, as always, I will have that champion little infographic, I call it, down in the video description if you want to pull that up. Just remember to take note on the accuracy and the multiple builds, and again with the masteries and her having the multiple styles of play and all that. So yeah, that's gonna do it. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.